Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Marlow York and I'm a self-published author. This week has been a week and it's only Tuesday. So I really wanted to film an easy video. I'm just gonna come out and say it. I wanted to do an easy video because I don't have the time or the energy or the patience to do anything like elaborate. And this is a video that I've been wanting to film for a while, but it just kind of never felt right, I guess. I don't know if it's actually called the Get to Know Me tag, but that's what I'm calling it because I think it is a tag, and I found it originally on Cindy, Read with Cindy's channel. I don't know which one, so I'll just link her channel below in the description because I love watching her videos. She talks mostly about books, occasionally some other stuff, but she's a booktuber. Anyway, so this tag is just some really broad questions about you, me, people in general. It's not like book related or writing related or anything. It's just interesting, maybe interesting stuff that you might like to know about me. And I also realize I've never done like an introduction sort of video that I see on some people's main channel pages. So if I figure out how to put this there, that's probably what I'll do. I'm not sure how many questions there are exactly. Some of them I think are, Jesus, these are in like a weird order. Anyway, let's just jump into it. Question 1, are you named after anyone? No. Simple answer, no. 2, when was the last time you cried? I'm not 100% sure on this one. I think actually it was on the weekend a few days ago or something. When I finished Stranger Things Season 3, the last episode of that just had me very depressed and nostalgic. I could get into Stranger Things in a different video, but it's just reminding me a lot of being in middle school and high school and the end of high school and all those. It's a very like emotional time in a young person's life. So it just made me feel very nostalgic to be sort of reliving that through the characters. So I'm pretty sure I cried at the last episode of Season 3 of Stranger Things. Question 3, do you have kids? No, I do not. I have a fur child right now. His name is Hogan. He is right there. That's not your best angle, young man. He doesn't care. No, I don't have any kids yet. We do want kids, my husband and I, but as of right now, that's my fur child. Question 4. If you were another person, would you be a friend of yourself? I've actually asked myself this question quite a few times, and I have not been able to come up with a definite answer. I don't think I've met anyone who's exactly like me. Like, I'm a pretty introverted person, but I do have, times when I like to be very funny and not really outgoing, but just when I'm around my friends, I like to be much more clownish. And I'm sure there are definitely people like that I've met, but I can't really think of any off the top of my head. Aside from the rest of my personality, I don't know. Like, I really don't know. I think I could be a good friend to myself, but considering how much anxiety I have as a person, the odds of me actually meeting other me is pretty slim. And if we did, it might take a little while to get used to each other, but then we'd start to warm up and I think we could be good friends. I don't know. Maybe. What is this? Question 5. Do you use sarcasm a lot? No. To be honest, I'm a very sarcastic person. I have a sarcastic sense of humor, and that's something I've heard about people from the Northeast in general, is that we tend to be very blunt and sarcastic. Of course, that's like a stereotype, a generalization, but I think it's true. Most of the people I know are very sarcastic, so yes, I love using sarcasm, and I try not to be like really rude about it, so I wouldn't do it to someone I didn't know that well unless I was very obviously making a joke. 6. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I didn't number these, so the numbering might get off in a while. What is your eye color? My eye color is blue with a little bit of yellow around the pupil. And that might sound kind of weird, but I mean, this is a thing that happens. I don't know if I've noticed it in anyone else because I'm not great with eye contact. I don't like to hold eye contact with people for very long. And here's the weird thing. I've had so many people try to tell me what my eye color is, as if I don't look at my eyeballs every freaking day in the mirror. So my eyes are blue, but because they do have yellow in them, sometimes they look green or gray depending on the lighting or what I'm wearing, but they are in fact blue. I don't know if you can see, but my eyes are blue, okay? And they do have yellow in them. So maybe that's kind of rare. I honestly don't know, but they're blue. And if you try to tell me different, you're wrong. 7. Scary movie or happy endings? I I hate horror movies, but I don't necessarily need a happy ending. I've gotten a lot better about watching spooky things. Like Stranger Things is definitely what I would consider spooky and kind of creepy, and there are definitely some scary moments. The same with Supernatural, and that's one of my favorite shows. But I don't like really scary movies. I don't like horror, I don't like gore. I like more thrillers where it's kind of suspenseful and it's more psychological, like you're trying to figure out what happens. But I think if I had to choose between a scary movie and a happy ending, I would always go with a happy ending. I don't mind movies that don't end happily as long as they're resolved well. Question 8. Favorite smells? I love how this isn't like a complete sentence. My favorite smells. Oh, one of my favorite smells of all time is hot pine trees. Like when it's the middle of summer and you're in a pine forest. I'm from the Adirondacks, so that's pretty common where I'm from. And I just love the smell of pine trees. Like it's sort of sweet, but also like there's a little bit of sharpness to it. Actually, my grandma sent me this little pillow a while back, and it's filled with fresh balsam fir. So it still smells pretty good, even though I've had it for a few years. Like it still smells like pine trees. And there's also some sort of evergreen tree right outside my office window, and it smells so good in the sun. What's another good smell? I love the smell of almond extract because that reminds me of baking with my grandma, and we didn't use it that often, and it's just such a rich, distinctive smell that I like it. What other favorite smells? I don't know. I guess those are my two favorites that come to mind right away. I love the smell of apples, fresh, not from the store, like fresh off the tree apples. I love I don't know what the word is, foresty smells, I guess, because I'm a forest creature. Question, 9? Yeah. What's the furthest you've been from home? I would say San Diego, California is the furthest away from home that I've ever been. I'm originally from a very small town in the Adirondacks. That's the very northern part of northern New York. In 2015, I moved to San Diego. I was 23 years old, I believe. And let me actually check the distance because I'm curious. I'm pretty sure it's a couple thousand miles. I have my computer right next to me in case you're wondering what I'm looking at. There's so much technology around me right now. It's absolutely disgusting. All right, so San Diego to my hometown is 2,795 miles or thereabouts. I mean, that's driving and that's the fastest route. Who knows what it would be flying? I don't really care to look that up, but still, almost 3,000 miles away from home is pretty damn far. And I could really go into a longer reason as to why I left home and moved all the way there, but it's like the exact opposite ends of the United States. I'm looking at the map right now, and like I said, I come from a very small town. Like my hometown has about 600 some odd people in it, and then I moved to San Diego, which has, let's just see, San Diego population, okay. Popular beach, I don't give a crap. Alright, just go with Google's suggestions. Don't try to spell things. Okay, so the city of San Diego has 1.42 million people as of 2017. And then county, because I really did move to San Diego County. I didn't move to like the city itself, even though at one point I did live close to the city, like closer to downtown. San Diego County itself has 3.338 million people as of 2017. That's disgusting. I live in Utah now, and I think the entire state of Utah has like that many people. Yeah, the entire state of Utah has 3.161 million people as of 2018. So the county of San Diego has more people than the entire state of Utah. But yeah, it was really like moving to opposite ends of the earth. Like the weather, the population, the culture, everything is so different. And I would love to get into, a specific my moving journey, like why I moved from New York to San Diego to Utah, and talk about the differences and like assumptions about each state. I do plan to do that at some point, but comment below if you actually want to watch that. I'll probably do it anyway, but if people want to watch it, then I'll make it more of a priority, I suppose. Alright, enough about that. Next question, which I think is question 10. Do you have any special talents? I have one. I don't know how special it is or how much of a talent it is, but if you want to see it, I will show you. Are you ready? Are you watching? That's it. That's my special talent. I'm not doing it again. Question 11. Where were you born? I was born in northern New York. No, not upstate New York, as in like Albany. I was born in the Adirondack. I was born in Carthage, New York. And no, I'm not from there, but I'm from that area. Question 12. What are your hobbies? I don't have any. I'm just kidding. I'm such a workaholic that I don't really get to do most of my hobbies these days. I guess my biggest hobby would be writing, but to me it's more of like a part-time job than hobby, like something I do for fun. I do still enjoy it, but it's like when you make something that's a hobby into a job, it becomes a little less fun and a little more stressful. So aside from writing, what else do I like to do? Things that I still do. I mean, there's a difference between the things that I like to do and that I've always considered my hobbies and things that I actually still get to do. So here's the hobbies that I like to do when I have the time. I do like drawing and photography, though I don't do them very often. I think I already established that. I really got into charcoal drawing, and I have an old art project that I'm pretty proud of, but I've never found a frame big enough for it, so at some point I do intend to put it on the back wall there. I love baking. I grew up baking with my grandma especially, so that's why I really like, almond extract smell. But also, I learned so much about cooking and like outdoorsy stuff in general from my grandparents, and I think baking is much easier than cooking, which is kind of funny because I went to a culinary school for a while, and I remember a lot of the culinary people would say that they would never bake because it's so complicated, but to me it's easier than cooking, so I prefer it. I also enjoy gardening a lot. Like I said, grew up gardening with my grandparents. They taught me a lot of stuff about that, and now that I finally have my own house, after so many years of living in like rented spaces, I actually get to have my first garden in 4 years. I always had a garden back home, but of course I didn't really garden much outside of like little planters when I was renting spaces, but now I have a vegetable garden outside. It's really small, but it's a start. And what else do I like to do? I like camping, and I like doing just a lot of outdoorsy things. I like biking. I do like working out, but again, it feels more like a responsibility at this point than a hobby. I like shooting guns. I like riding four-wheelers. I don't know. I just like outdoorsy kind of stuff. Question 13. Do you have any pets? Yes, right now I have a dog. He's a pit bull Shar Pei mix. Not so sure about the Shar Pei part, but he's definitely a pit bull mix. I did film an entire video about him, so I'll try to link that in the cards if I remember. Future Marlow. That's a note to you. Before that, I did grow up with 2 cats who I love and miss very much. I don't know if you can see the pictures back there, but that's them. They lived to be about 15 years old by the time they died. And I also had a betta fish. And so many people don't give a crap about fish, and I think bettas get... I just feel so bad anytime I see a betta fish in the store. I just want to take them home and love them and care for them. But I had a betta fish. He was a little tiny guppy, and he grew to be this beautiful, majestic water flame. I'll try to insert a picture here if I feel like doing that. But those are all the pets that I have personally owned. Question 14. Do you have any siblings? I have an older brother. What do you want to be when you grow up? Well, contrary to my young appearance, I am a fully grown adult, which might surprise a lot of people. Most people think I'm way younger than I really am, and sometimes they think I'm a teenager and I still live at home with my parents, and I'm getting off track. That's a personal sort of Napoleon complex kind of thing I have. But when I was a young lass, I'm just being an idiot now. The first thing I wanted to be when I was really young was a veterinarian. I've always loved animals, but then I started watching, I think it was called Emergency Vets. It was the show on Animal Planet, and it did show footage of actual surgeries, and I was like, oh, I could never be a vet because I don't want to cut an animal open. I didn't realize that vet tech was a thing. Other things that I wanted to be, at one point I kind of wanted to be an actor, when I was really young, but I don't want to do that anymore. I did want to be a voice actor at one point, and I still think it'd be kind of cool to try that. I definitely don't have the vocal strength for it because my voice cracked after 20 minutes of filming. And then I thought I wanted to do some sort of baking career, but after spending so many years in culinary arts and doing several jobs in the culinary industry, I was like, yeah, fuck that. I don't want to do that anymore. 15. Who was your first best friend? Should I say them by name? That's kind of a weird question. I think, who was my first best friend? I'm pretty sure it was Jordan. I'm not gonna say his last name because that's fucking weird, but the thing about growing up in a small town is not only do you know everyone, odds are you all grew up together. So I went to preschool and all the way through high school and graduation with most of the same people. And so I guess Jordan would be my first best friend because we did go to the entire school together. And of course we all had our own not clique, ew, I hate that word. We all had our own like group of friends, and we were sort of like the outcasts. We were not popular people. I really liked my group of friends, I think because we were a little bit of the outcasts, of the not popular kids. We just got to really be ourselves, even if other people didn't like it. Let's just move on. I have so many questions. Oh my god. Question 16? Sure. How tall are you? I am not tall. I'm 5'2". I'm quite a petite person, and I've been this tall since I was like, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 years old or something. I was very tall as a kid, like as a youngin', and I grew up very fast, I matured very fast, I hit puberty very fast, and so I was like a giant among the elementary school, or at least, you know, kids my own age, and that was like the thing. Like, I was known as like the tall girl. I think around middle school, I just stopped growing or something. I'm not really sure how old I was, but at some point I got to like 5'1", 5'1.5", come on, 5'2", and that was it. And I've been that tall ever since. When you're a 5'2", like 12-year-old, you're giant. I don't know the average height of children, whatever. But when you're 5'2" and you're 27 going on 28, you're a pipsqueak. Next question. 17? I don't know. Funniest moment throughout school? I don't fucking know. And that's the thing. I really think, I don't know who wrote these questions, but some of these it's like aimed at almost someone younger, I feel like. I don't know what the one funniest moment throughout my entire schooling is. I have a bachelor's degree, so that means I did what? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, counting kindergarten, 18, counting preschool. No one does, but 17, 18 years worth of school. I don't know. Odds are, funniest moment throughout school was probably something that happened outside of class or outside of school in like high school or college. I don't know. Next question, 18. How many countries have you visited? I've only been to 2 countries, counting the one that I live in. I live in the United States, and I've been to Canada. My hometown is so close to Canada that going there it only takes like an hour, hour and a half, depending on where you're coming from. So we used to go to Canada for like field trips in elementary school, and I've been there with my family. I remember going to Niagara Falls on the Canadian side and going to Marineland. I don't know if Marineland's still a thing, but it's basically Canadian SeaWorld. I also went to Ottawa in college with some of my college friends, and it's definitely a different feeling going to another country with friends versus going with like a class or your family or like some sort of supervised thing. I like Canada a lot, so yeah, that's it. Another funny thing about living in northern New York and then moving to San Diego, when I lived in San Diego, I was about as close to Mexico as I was to Canada when I lived in New York. So again, it was another I literally just flipped the map or something. Next question, what was your favorite / worst subject in school? Well, I can tell you right now, my worst subject has always been math. I've always sucked at math. I still count on my fingers. I will use a calculator 5 times to be exactly sure that I'm doing calculations correctly. Just me and numbers have never gotten along, and I don't know why. Something about numbers just jumbles my brain. My favorite subjects in school were usually art, music, and reading or writing. English class, I guess, when you get older. Definitely my writing workshop classes, comp classes, I believe they're called, in college. I liked music throughout elementary school, but once we got older, it just became shittier. The expectations were too high for people who weren't in band or in chorus or anything. But I always loved art classes. So I think art and English have consistently been my favorite subjects in school. Okay, this is a 3-part question. What is your favorite drink, animal, and perfume? Okay, favorite drink, I guess alcoholic drink, Jack and Coke is my favorite, but generally I just drink water and coffee. That's about it. Favorite animal, I don't know. When I was a kid, my favorite animal was first dolphins and then horses. I was such a horse-obsessed little girl, it was stupid. And then I've always really liked cats, and I feel like I have a very cat-like personality. I still think I really like cats and horses, but I don't know if I have a favorite. Favorite perfume? I don't wear perfume, so I don't have one. These days when I do wear perfume, I have this little 2-sided roller ball, but I like Viva La Juicy Suke. I don't really know how to pronounce that. It's like sugar in French. And then I like the regular Viva La Juicy, but I like the Sucre better. But yeah, I don't really wear perfume very often, but when I do, it's usually one of these. Next question. What will you name your children? So we've pretty much decided the entire name of like any boys that we have. We would prefer to have boys. Like if I had to have 2 kids, I think it'd be nice to have one of each, a girl and a boy. But if we had to have 2 of the same gender, we would prefer 2 boys. So we already have like 2 complete boy names chosen. I'm not going to tell you because I don't want to like give it away or anything. But we have not been able to choose girl names very well. We have like a list of potential girl names, but we're just like, hopefully we have boys and we don't have to like choose a girl name that we're not super into. Next question. What sports have you played? I was never on like a sports team for very long, or at least not in like middle school or high school or college, like when it counts. Again, I'm playing with his hair tie. Sorry. When I was really young, I played on a soccer team. Like in elementary school, there was this thing called ASO soccer. I don't know if that's only a New York thing, but it's basically just soccer for kids. I was in karate when I was about 8 to 10 years old. I wasn't in it for super long. I know I got an orange belt. Orange belt? Yellow belt. I think it's white, orange, yellow. And that's as far as I got, was like 3 belts. So however long it takes to get that. I was also on a bowling league for a while. I know people are like, that's not a real sport, but some people think it does count. I don't know. But I did bowl for a while. But other than that, it's not that I'm not a sporty person or an athletic person. I was much more athletic when I was younger, but I just never liked team sports. I really like playing volleyball. So at one point, the school was going to try to get a volleyball team. I don't know, it just never happened, but if it did happen, I would have played on it, I think, or at least for a little while, because I really did like volleyball. And I did take volleyball twice when I was in college. Next question. Who are some of your favorite YouTubers? I watch a wide variety of YouTubers, not just Bookstagram or AuthorTube people. I don't want to like list a bunch of names, but I do watch a wide variety of stuff. Yeah, I subscribe to quite a few people now. I never used to because I didn't care about YouTube. Like, I didn't start watching YouTube regularly until like a year ago or so. But yeah, I watch a variety of people. I'm not going to list them all below because that's a waste of time, and I don't want to like leave anyone out. Another random ass question. How many girlfriends/boyfriends have you had? Well, I've never had any girlfriends, I can tell you that. How many boyfriends have I had? Hang on a second. So many. No, just kidding. I'm way too introverted to like date around. 5? Only 5, I think. And I don't think that's like too many or too little because I don't care. But honestly, like I said, I'm an introvert. I don't really bond closely with very many people. I'm not the sort of person who has a lot of like close relationships. So it makes sense that I wouldn't have had very many like boyfriends, partners. So 5, yeah. Favorite memory from childhood? Don't know. God, what? This would be probably easier to answer if I was younger. Like, I'm so old. Not that old, but I'm older than you think, probably. I did mention my age, if anyone caught that. I don't think I have one favorite memory from childhood. I can never choose one favorite anything. Like, very rarely. I'm the kind of person who just doesn't like to choose favorites. I don't have one favorite book, favorite author, favorite band, one favorite movie. Like, I like a gambit of things, so I don't have one favorite memory from childhood. Next question. How would you describe your fashion sense? Senseless? I don't know. I just wear whatever's most comfortable. I generally just wear jeans and a t-shirt all the time. I don't really enjoy dressing up. I don't like a huge variety of types of clothes. Like, I don't really wear dresses because I don't feel like they're super practical. I like things that are practical and comfortable and will hold up for at least a few years. A lot of the things that I wear, I still have clothes from like middle school and high school because I stopped growing a long time ago, so I can still fit into them. But yeah, I just go for comfortable and practical, but I do like shirts that are kind of unique. I mean, this isn't super unique. It's just from a brewery. Can you see the back? Yeah. One of the things when I was growing up was I always had like kooky t-shirts, not like bright colors necessarily, but just like interesting designs or interesting sayings on them. Like, that was my thing, was just I like cool t-shirts, but I always go for something that's comfortable and practical over fashionable any day. Next question. What phone do you have? This is my phone. It's a Samsung J3V. What the fuck are you? You can tell I'm not a phone person. Like, I don't care about having, like, new phones, new technology. I'm not, like, a technology buff. I'm trying to see if I can take this off. Samsung Galaxy J3 6V. Does that mean anything to anyone? It's a Samsung Galaxy phone. That's about it. This is actually the first smartphone I've ever had, and I got it 2 years ago, I think. I haven't had it very long. I've always had dumb phones. I've been sort of not anti-technology in total, but I like to keep technology at a distance and use it mostly for like practical reasons. And the only reason I really wanted a smartphone was because when I lived in San Diego, I often had to use maps and stuff to get around because my car didn't have a nav system or any vehicle that I was using at the time. With a dumb phone, I obviously couldn't use a GPS or map app. So I always had to print directions from Google or like MapQuest or something, and that's not very smart to be like reading instructions while driving, especially when it's like at night and you can't even read your handwriting anyway, or like the printed instructions. So I mostly wanted a smartphone so that I could use GPS. That was a long way to say what kind of phone I have. I need to be done. All right, last question. See, I told you I'd lose count at some point. Tell us one of your bad habits. I was gonna say like anxiety, but that's not a habit. That's just how I am at this point. Bad habits. I chew on my lips a lot. You probably can't see it because I have lipstick on, but I pretty much have like little tooth indents on my lower lip just from chewing on them so much, and I can't help it, especially when like they get all dried out and you're just trying to like get all that stuff off there. So that's probably one of my bad habits. I crack my knuckles a lot. I crack lots of stuff. I'm not going to demonstrate because I know that grosses some people out, but I crack my knuckles. I've been doing that since I was a little kid, and a lot of my other joints just crack on their own. My knee, my right knee especially, cracks every time I kneel down. It's always done that for as long as I can remember. It has a lot of pains, so that's probably related. I can crack my back really good or really bad, depending on who you ask. My neck cracks, my shoulders crack when I stretch, my hips crack, my toes crack. I crack. I'm a Rice Krispie, basically. But I would say, yeah, those are kind of my bad habits. Biting my lips and cracking things that probably shouldn't be cracked. So, finally, a million questions later, that was the Get to Know Me tag, or at least I'm assuming that's what it's called. I will probably, most likely, definitely, I don't like to make promises. I'll try to link all of the questions down below in the description so you guys can do them. And yeah, I guess that's all I had to say today. I've said previously I like doing tags, and I try to keep my content related to books and writing because that's mostly what my online persona is. However, I like answering I like answering these general sort of questionnaires, and I like doing stuff that's not just about books and writing. So I hope what am I going at here? I just need to take a nap. So I hope you guys learned some interesting stuff about me that you might not have known, that you might not have wanted to know. I hope some of these interested you. I don't know. If you'd like to keep up with me on my writing endeavors, I'll leave my social media links below in the description, as well as a link to my debut self-published novel, Blood of Fire, which is available on Amazon in Kindle and paperback form. I don't know why I struggled to say that. It's just been a struggle week already. So until next time, see ya. Oh lordy. So until next time, see ya. That was a half-assed wave. Whatever.